going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and as I talk anything movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you have come to the right place. And like I said, today we are talking about Sonic 3, so without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, Sonic is a very weird franchise. As we all know, Sonic was one of the biggest memes back when the first movie was about to come out because of the ugly Sonic that was released when we first got the original trailer, and everybody was just going crazy on the studios of how ridiculous Sonic looked. And this has slowly become one of the better franchises of a video game adaptation that we've gotten in a very long time. The first one was amazing. The second one was even better in my opinion. And this one might even be even better than both of those. But without taking any much more of your time, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below what you think about the entire Sonic franchise. But without further ado, let's get into my pros. And starting on my pros, I just really enjoy the chemistry between the human characters, between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. This is just a fun cast to be around. They're very silly. You know, you have Knuckles that takes everything too serious, but it makes for a very fun comedy relief. You have Sonic that's just this whimsical type person. You know, Tails that is just always a fun character to be around, and it just makes for a very fun dynamic that we have here that just makes for a fun franchise that has its emotional moments, it's very comical moments, and it's very epic moments, all packed into one, making for a big epic movie. And I like the direction that we're going here with the Sonic franchise. Obviously, this movie is introducing Shadow, and we're starting to learn a little bit about the story of Shadow, where he came from, what his background story is, what is his motive for being kind of the bad guy within this movie. And I do like the movie, the kind of flow that we're going through with the Shadow character, learning about his past and, you know, Eggman's grandfather and his involvement with Shadow and everything like that. And Sonic kind of getting involved with his team and some of the hardship that goes along with that. So it was a very, very fun, compelling story. I thought Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow was a very fun casting. I love Keanu Reeves. You know, some people say he might not be the best actor, but even with that in the air, I still love Keanu Reeves' voice as Shadow. I think it fits perfectly for the Shadow character and what he does. You know, it felt like Shadow was the John Wick of this universe. And I just love hearing Keanu Reeves' voice coming through the character of Shadow. And of course, we have Jim Carrey's return as Eggman. He's playing himself as Eggman as well as his grandfather. And that was also just a fun little bit. There were certain things that were not the best, which we'll probably talk about a little bit more in the cons. But overall, I think Jim Carrey's comedy is always going to be a hit or miss for a lot of people. And there was a lot of it that definitely worked. Some risky comedy in there as well that I can definitely appreciate. Things that can definitely offend some people in a Sonic movie is kind of a crazy thing to hear sometimes. So I definitely could enjoy a good amount of the Jim Carrey humor that we got here. And besides Jim Carrey's humor, there was a lot of other people that had some really good comedic relief as well. Like I said, like Knuckles, even someone like Sonic and Tails. So everybody in the casting was just having a blast with this movie. But there is still a whole epic story to be told here. And the battle between Sonic and Shadow is one of the greatest fight sequences I've ever seen in cinematic history. That might be a little over the top of what I'm trying to say here, but it was just that epic. That's what made this movie go above Sonic 2 for me. I think Sonic 2 was the better of the first and second one, and this one was teetering between if I liked Sonic 2 or 3 better. And when that fight sequence happened between Shadow and Sonic, this surpassed it, elevated it to the next level, and I had such a great time with that fight sequence. The visuals, just the epic scope of what was going on screen was just so amazing. I absolutely loved it. And we even have some emotional stuff going on here. Shadow's story is kind of sad. There's, you know, a lot of emotion, there's a lot of heart that goes into Shadow's character. So I really enjoy that even though you have all these whimsical comedic relief moments and these epic fight sequences, you still have enough room to throw some emotions in there that I was very, very invested in and I definitely enjoyed. And lastly, this is not so much towards the movie, but just the crowd that I was in. My crowd was a fun, rowdy crowd. They were laughing out loud at the funny moments. They were clapping for certain sequences. When the movie was over, everybody started cheering. And that's always kind of fun, you know, to hear a crowd be so engaged in the movie that they're watching. You had people coming in dressed as Shadow, as Sonic, as Tails, as Knuckles. So I was in a theater that was very, very involved with this movie. And that's always fun, and that always kind of elevates the viewing experience with the people around you are having a blast with you as well. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my cons. And I do not have much to say here. There's just a few little things. Of course, I kind of already mentioned a little bit. Jim Carrey's humor works for the most part, but there are some that are just very cringy, fall flat on its face. Then it wasn't very necessary and kind of threw you off sometimes within the moments. And then on top of that, besides some of the cringy humor, you had some characters that really didn't deliver in terms of the performance. The line delivery was a little choppy, was a little cringy. It just felt very forced in the way the lines were being delivered. And it's kind of hard to nitpick a Sonic movie, right? You know, it's not supposed to be this Oscar-winning type of film, but it's, to me, it still sticks out. And speaking of something that sticks out, when you have these great visuals of fight sequences and battles and all these things going on, and then you blatantly see green screens on the screen being used, it sticks out like a sore thumb, even more so. So it's very, very obvious. So there's just very little slight moments like that where you have these epic things going on, a great story, and it throws you off with some very weird dialogue, a very weird joke, and very off-putting visuals compared to everything else in the movie. And lastly, I think this movie was probably about 10 to 15 minutes too long. Not that it felt like it was dragging, but there's something about it that felt like the movie was a little longer than it should have been. And I think that has to do with a lot of the cringy joke sequences that we have here that aren't that great, in my opinion. That kind of took some time away from what's going on screen. So if some of those were taken down and this movie was about 10 minutes shorter, I think that would have been a perfect runtime. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Overall, I absolutely had a blast with this movie. This was so much fun. I can't wait to see what the Sonic franchise is going to continue doing in the many years to come. I hope they just continue building upon this universe and having a fun time with this franchise. This is definitely one of those that puts a smile on my face. I thoroughly enjoy, and I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it as well. But also, let me know what you guys thought about the movie in the comment section down below. And again, if you guys like talking about the movie, TV show, or video game later, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.